Welcome to Behind Blue Eyes, the show that is all things New South Wales Rugby League. We'll talk to our greats of the past about the life and times of our players and people of today. Great to have you on board. Let's go Behind Blue Eyes. All right, it is time to go Behind Blue Eyes. I'm joined by Jamie Soward. Sowie, have you seen anyone come to a new club, dominate, control in the manner in which Adam Reynolds has done? He maybe a week or two, of course, he was out for that first game against South. He's been unbelievable.
Absolutely amazing, and it's his control. It's the way he's been able to make everyone else around him better, but his kicking game and his game management, I think, is real a sore point that South Sydney have missed, but the Brisbane Broncos have been craving for a number 7 to be able to control the team, and that young forwards is in a rich vein of form, and I'm loving watching him play because it's sort of taken it back a little bit before the game got so fast. He's actually controlling it, so love watching Adam Reynolds at the moment.
It does make you wonder, and hopefully we don't have any injuries, any more injuries, but he's the kind of guy, if you needed a halfback at Blues level, you'd chuck him in.
Well, he's got big game experience, and the teammates trust him that he's going to get the kicking game on, so yeah, I'm sure if they needed to, I know Mitchell Pearce the last couple of years when Cleary hasn't been there, Reynolds would be next in line. Now,
Daniel Saifiti at Newcastle, we've seen how good he can be. By his own admission, he's not going at the top of his game at the moment. What do you make of all of that?
I think sometimes you're a victim of the circumstances. You know, when you're in the Origin side and then the next year you're trying to get back in to a winning side, but your team's not playing great and then your personal performance has been a little bit off. It's a big couple of weeks heading into Origin selection for those guys that haven't been playing well, and Daniel will be looking forward to getting out there and just playing footy and showing Freddie, because we have seen players in the past not be in the greatest form, but the Origin coach knows what they can do in that arena, so they get picked.
Yeah, and they've got a bit of momentum because they've got to win, and he's up against his teammate Payne Haas. There's no better time to try to put your name in lights.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If he can come out this week and break even and they can cause an upset against the Broncos, and all of a sudden his name, if it's sort of half scrubbed out because of his form, it starts to get written again.
So Payne Haas virtually picks himself. He does.
100%.
Who else would you have there?
It's been a tough one because I really like Junior Barlow. Obviously, Parramatta have been up and down in terms of their performances, but he and Regan Campbell-Gillard have still been pretty consistent. You can go with Jake Trbojevic. Those three guys, I think, sort of come to mind. But like I said, if Daniel has a big game this week against Payne Haas, he puts himself right in the frame, and then those guys go in the supporting act.
Yeah, done a terrific job for New South Wales in the past, hasn't he? And Ryan Madison, that try he scored on the weekend, it didn't get him the win. The Roosters come back and won that game. But that goes to show what kind of power he has got. Where does he sit, do you think, in and around the whole idea of a Blues jersey?
Yeah, I know he's 18th man or involved in the squad a couple of years ago. I think the best footy that Ryan's played this year has been carefree and not overthinking it. So he's just going out there and doing the little things for the team and getting those opportunities. So he could be an option in the back row. I know that Freddie's got a few headaches there in trying to select with maybe Angus Crichton coming back into that role. But yeah, Ryan Madison, he's playing probably the best footy I've seen him play in the last couple of years. And the utility value as well. You need to be able to have guys that can play maybe in the centres or 5'8", like you said.
Yeah, so you've got Victor Radley, who's out injured. He's at least going to miss Origin 1, possibly Origin 2. Dale Finucane. Now, Finucane, I suppose, would have picked himself. Radley, would you have had him there?
It's interesting because no Cam Murray. I think Radley comes into that sort of 15 role with Isaiah Yeo at 13. But yeah, I think when we've got injuries here, rather than thinking whether we would have had them there, we need to start looking at those guys who we would have had. So Murray and Victor Radley are very similar in their style of body shape and the way that they play. Cam Murray's going to be a huge loss, but I think Victor Radley would have been on the bench.
What about Finucane?
Hard to say. We've talking about front rowers. Dale's been fantastic, but you've got Junior Barlow, you've got Regan Campbell-Gillard, you've got Daniel Saifiti. There, I think he might have just missed out.
All right, now let's have a look at this Storm Panthers game. Storm were down on numbers, but Penrith dominated. How do you look back at that game?
I actually had it picked that way. I thought that Penrith, the noise around Parramatta beating them and at home and all that kind of stuff, I thought they were ready for this game and they wanted to make a statement. But the big out, I know Ryan Papenhuyzen is a huge out for the Melbourne Storm, but for me, Jerome Hughes, what he does to that team, we spoke about Adam Reynolds at the top of the segment. Yeah, he has the control. He puts Cameron Munster into place. He pretty much runs that side now. So losing him late, Remus Smith, they had a lot of excuses, the Melbourne Storm. Conceded some soft tries, and Craig Bellamy wouldn't be happy with that. But for me, the key out for the Melbourne Storm was Jerome Hughes.
Yeah, and what about all these Panthers players, New South Wales Panthers players, in form?
Well, for years, I mean, you and I have grown up watching, the Brisbane Broncos pretty much pick their side and go into Origin, and how do we stop that and all that kind of stuff. Now it's great to see the Penrith Panthers dominating selection, and that trio that we spoke about a couple of years ago of Yeo, Cleary and Luai, how important they are to the side.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot wait for Origin. I think we've successfully gone behind blue eyes.
How good.